Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here and welcome to Final Fantasy Bestiary. This series is dedicated towards discovering the history and lore behind Final Fantasy's most iconic creatures and characters. We return to the series after a long absence, apologies, to discuss the job, Ninja. Now we usually start these bestiary videos explaining the real-life inspirations for a job or monster, though I imagine the ninja needs little introduction. Real ninjas specialized in gathering intel or assassinating key figures as a form of guerrilla warfare, mostly during the time of feudal Japan. Rarely did they partake in actual combat, though they possessed several skills and tools just in case it became necessary. Over the years, the ninja has been portrayed in a number of ways, though I figure most pop culture references you see today would show men or women dressed in all black, only showing their eyes and the skin around their face in that area, moving quick and unnoticed before ultimately eliminating their opponent with one of their many weapons. The ninja job in Final Fantasy has too been reimagined based on real ninjas. Often, the job specializes in its ability to attack fast and hit hard using a number of tools such as ninjutsu, daggers, katanas, throwing weapons, and more. To compensate for their heavily focused offense, they often take high damage in return, though this isn't true across the entire series. Also, it's not uncommon for them to actually have other means of protecting themselves in combat. Early on in the series, the job developed a heavy connection to the thief job, since in Final Fantasy I, ninja was the advanced job obtained late into the game for anyone who started as a thief. Not only did they inherit the speed and the weapon selection of a thief, they also got some newer armor and even gained access to low-level black magic, the game's first attempt at giving them ninjutsu. Final Fantasy III would be where we saw the job next, as it was also obtainable, though depending on which version you played, it either came earlier or later in the game. Again, speed is the job's ally, though the throw command gave them the ability to toss powerful items and weapons at the opponent to deal heavily increased damage. Then Final Fantasy IV came around and gave the job its first memorable face in the form of Edge, a ninja who also served as a prince of the ninja nation of Eblan. Not only did he continue to utilize the throw command, he was also able to dual wield and was the first ninja to officially have access to the ninjutsu command, which was capable of performing magical attacks, healing, providing buffs, and inflicting debuffs. Final Fantasy V's ninja saw similar use to its prior versions, though it had the ability to affect encounters and escapes as well. In Final Fantasy VI, the job was given its next face in the form of the optional party member, Shadow. As a deadly ninja with a dark history, he offers his assistance for limited times and is more directly in line with real-life ninjas, known for his assassinations and intel gathering skills. As a ninja the job, Shadow resembles the previous iterations again, though he does not possess the ninjutsu command. In addition to that, his dog, the Interceptor, well, does just that. Occasionally attempts to protect Shadow from physical attacks, sometimes even counterattacking. Final Fantasy VII's very own ninja was Yuffie Kisaragi. Born in the ninja nation of Wutai, can't believe I've gotten to say ninja nation twice in one video, she is an optional party member who can be found in one of the many forests around the world. At this point, she resembles a thief more than a ninja, that is when you first encounter her, mainly because if you choose one wrong text choice, she just steals your items and runs away, until you find her again and finally make her join your party. That being said, she does come with the throw materia, which is why she is very often associated with ninjas along with her origin, and after that, she can pretty much be customized like any of the other party members. Her limit breaks mostly resemble incredibly fast strikes, reminiscent of a ninja fight style, though her final one, All Creation, is like a giant laser beam. Strange. After this point, the ninja job would fail to be present for quite some time in the series. Though Amarant Corral in Final Fantasy IX possesses the throw command, he is often considered to be something other than a ninja, since the majority of his other skills have little resemblance to that of your traditional Final Fantasy ninja, on top of the fact he mostly fights with his fists. Final Fantasy XI would be the next iteration of the ninja job. Obtained from the quest Ayami Encade, this iteration was quite confusing compared to prior ones, mostly because the player base decided to use ninja in this game as a tank. Now originally, the job wasn't intended for that, but it was incredibly resource intensive, requiring throwing items, ninjutsu tools, and really deep pockets to remain effective on the job. Players quickly noticed that they could avoid damage from a lot of skills using the job's Utsu Semi Ninjutsu, which created shadows that could avoid physical attacks as well as single target magic attacks. Eventually, the developers supported this and gave ninja more armor with damage reduction, enmity creation, enmity being the stat that allowed them to hold aggro and keep the enemy's attention, and generally tankier stats. The job then came to serve as one of the go-to tanks, utilizing an array of sub-jobs and the ninjutsu that they had in order to maintain aggro while keeping up their Utsusemi buff. While the job has gotten more damage-dealing tools in recent years, the job is still not widely accepted as a go-to damage dealer, with part of the reason being that it's one of its strongest assets. Throwing is just so expensive to maintain. After this, the job did appear in Final Fantasy XII, at least in the International Zodiac Job Edition one. Well, sort of. The job present here was the Shikari, which was also called the Hunter in some versions, and it used ninja weapons and had white magic, so it wasn't really a full-blown ninja. However, the job would be featured in Square Enix's next MMO, Final Fantasy XIV. It was introduced in patch 2.4, making it a job that was added without the need for an expansion. Here, it fulfilled the role it had trouble fitting into in Final Fantasy XI, with it being a job primarily focused on dealing damage. It also specialized in controlling which target an opponent is attacking, although not itself, and opening up weaknesses to deal more damage. The job does feature a stealth mechanic, though it's hardly efficient and feels more like it's for show than anything else. Its signature ninjutsu is also present, able to be executed on by performing a series of mudras before enacting the ninjutsu effect. One of these ninjutsus is actually the Fuma Shuriken, which was often one of the most powerful throwing weapons in the previous Final Fantasy games for ninjas. Now, I say this at the end of every episode of Bestiary, but the ninja job has been featured in other non-numbered Final Fantasy games. A few that come to mind are Tactics, Type 0, Bravely Default, and more. It's one of those staple jobs to the series, and as such, we expect to see it more. I'm hoping to see it as one of the bosses in Final Fantasy 15, since they said they will be having NPCs that resemble the old school jobs in that game. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and if you have any recommendations for Bestiary, be sure to leave them in the comment section of the video below. Hopefully I'll also be seeing you guys at PAX East. This video is going live while I am there, so if you're there and you're watching this, what are you doing? Go out onto the show floor. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time, and until then, take care.